Hello, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to some more Planet Crafter. We pretty much let this thing run for a couple of days. Pete has been kind of having fun. I had long days of work, long days of turkeys. Just normal Thanksgiving stuff. In the process of doing all these things, Pete is nice enough to set up several teleporters. So we have the super alloy, sulfur, obsidian, aluminum, iridium, zeolite. We have drones, right? So we're gonna basically pick up all these guys to be able to get drones for us, right? And then once we get all this stuff, we're gonna go out here. We're gonna make our drone bay. Really, what this episode is going to be about is just setting up the drones and getting them kind of started, and having them kind of do what we need them to do. So once we get here, go ahead and put down a drone station. Right. So we'll put down a drone station. Once you do that, you'll go in here and look at it. And then here we have drones. We need a rocket engine, a circuit board, and an iron. So we'll see how many circuit boards we have, and then that combined with how many rockets we have. That will tell us what we can do next, right? So here we go. We'll go ahead and take these guys here, right? So this is going to we'll take those out, all right? So we have 15 of those. See if we have some rocket engines. Let's see, rocket engines, fuses. Almost. So we have 12 of those. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into iron here. Grab a couple of those. Grab all these that we can. Okay. And then I'm just going to run out here. I'm basically going to just tell this guy to build a bunch of drones, right? Hold on control. And then just do that until it stops making things. And then we'll need to add 4 more of those. Now, the way the drones work, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 of those, right? All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to this guy. Go ahead and put those in. And then if we look at here, shows we have 12 drones, right? Supply, demand, all this stuff over here shows kind of the inventory of the box, right? So what we're going to do up here is we're going to look at these guys. So this has this in it. You get this cool little guy here, right? And then supply, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do supply here. And then you're going to supply, and we're going to say iron, right? Then if I go in here, I look at this guy, and I tell it here, and then I tell it to demand, and then I can tell it to demand iron, right? So then what we'll do is we're going to come out here. We're going to see the drones. All the drones are going to run from there. They're going to run over here to this guy here. They're going to figure out wherever iron is, and then they're going to bring it, and then they'll fill this box up, right? So this box is going to get filled up. This one, basically the same thing. We're going to tell it demand. We're going to say silicon, right? This one we're going to demand, and then we'll demand magnesium. Here, demand, and we'll demand titanium, right? So, and basically all you're going to do is you're going to go through all of these things, and we're going to set them up so that they demand all this stuff, right? So as we go through and we get all these set up, go aluminum, right? And then what I'm doing is I'm trying to bring, oops, that is not what I wanted to do at all. We're going to demand this guy. We're going to demand super alloy, right? Here we're going to demand... we'll actually demand iridium. There you go. Here we'll demand uranium. Nope, that is not what I want to do at all. I want to get rid of that one. I hit the wrong one. Let's try the uranium instead. Osmium into here. So it's going to take me a little bit of time to get all these set up. But once you actually get them all set up, and then we're going to go to all the different areas around the base that we're actually pulling items from, and basically where we're all of our mining resources and stuff like that. So as we get all these things set up, right, even here, like the food here, I can demand food, the super food here, right? The water, I can demand water here, right? So I want to demand water, right? So now if I go up here to this guy, and this thing's making me my super, my superfood here, right? So then I can tell this guy I want it to supply, right? And then supply high quality food, right? So at some point we'll see them. I'll see the robots come up and grab them, and the robots are going to start bringing stuff down here. And then this box is going to start getting full of food. So that way, as we go through and do these things, we can get them convinced to do what we need to do. Now I'm going to do the same thing here, where I'm going to tell this guy, you are going to supply water, right? The same thing with this guy. We'll have you supply water. Supply water like that. And then as we go through, and this guy should have been set up to filter, so it's basically filtered for iron. This guy is filtered for titanium, right? So what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and do this. We'll go supply titanium, right? This guy is going to supply this guy. This guy is going to supply, oh, maybe I'm not setting those yet. So silicon. So this stuff is all being set up where it's already basically pulling everything that we need to supply it, right? And then as we go in here and look, the sulfur one is not being ran correctly. So we'll go ahead and set up sulfur to demand sulfur. Right here, we'll do this and demand sulfur, right? So at some point, we should see, yep, there they go. I'll bring all of my sulfur in. And what will end up happening is that we'll keep all these boxes pretty much full for us. And then what I'll need to do in the grand scheme of things here is because we end up having, let's see, let's go ahead and we'll go here. We're going to go to super alloy obsidian. We'll be nice enough to teleport over to this guy here. And then, so we should be able to go down over here somewhere. There should be a mining thing. Can I see? It's over here, probably. Yeah, there it is. So here's the mining guy down here. And then this guy is obsidian. And then here's doing obsidian. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and supply, and we'll supply obsidian from this guy, right? So what will end up happening is they'll actually come and get our obsidian for us. So we won't even have to come and get it. Now these things here, we can actually take this. Well, this one won't work. But what we can do is like pick this stuff up like this. And as we pick things up, and I can go in here, right? I can do this and do this guy. We'll get us a little box here, right? So if I put me a little box down, right? I tell this guy, and we can just supply. I think this just supplies everything. Yeah, so that supplies everything, right? And then what I can do is just drop all this stuff in there, and eventually what will happen is it will just come and get all that stuff and get it cleared out of there for us. Or as soon as I need something from there, it will just grab it and pull it for it. So if you have a bunch of stuff where you're rapidly trying to get things cleared out, you can basically make it where you can kind of have it auto brought back to the station there. Alright, so here we have super alloy. Nope, that is not what I want to do at all. I wanted to do supply, and then we'll do super alloy. Okay, and then here we'll supply this guy. Keep trying to get it to demand things. I don't want it to demand things. I want it to supply things. We'll do this guy. Here we will also do supply. And then we will do, I keep losing the super alloy. I'm trying to figure out why this one's different. Okay, this is because that's the tier 2 one. So I don't want it to, I'm just worried about the tier 3 ones. Right, same thing with this. Like I can tell this guy, okay, you can just get rid of everything. So that way if it does need an aluminum or something, I can do that. Pete has this thing set up to automatically craft these guys, right? Actually, you know what? So let's change this. Let's change this instead. We will change this to, let's see, let me go, let's see, let me delete that, demand, and we're going to demand aluminum to this guy here. Demand aluminum, right? And then, now the only bad part about this, and honestly, probably the better way to do this probably is to just pick this guy up. Let's do this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell this guy here. Actually, I'm just going to take all those back with me, and then we will go ahead and tell it get rid of everything. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want to take that stuff back to the base and have the rods made at the base instead of having them made out here. I completely understand what was going. He was basically making them here so that he could just come and pick up like 5 of them at a time and just be done and not have to worry about it. But we are not doing that right now. All right, so once we do that, we'll go to the aluminum, because I need to get the aluminum set up too. So here we are with aluminum. Once again, we just kind of set up here. We just tell it to supply. And we're gonna. I guess I could have told it just to supply everything, but because the only thing that can really show up in there is aluminum. So I'm not super worried about it trying to get other things. But it's easier to just keep it kind of limited. Alright, so that stuff is all going well there. Let's see, osmium. I need osmium. So the idea here is to try to get as much of this stuff set up as we can. He's making osmium rods here, which is fine. And then we can go up here, set this guy to supply, and we'll do osmium. Do this guy over here too, supply, and we'll do osmium again. Right, and then the whole point of these guys is to have all these things set up so that we can go do that. Let's see, iridium, zeolite. Let's see, I think I already did. Well, let's go do sulfur. That way we can make sure we have sulfur set up too. And Pete was nice enough to kind of run around and get all of our bases set up for us so that we can have all this stuff set up. Anybody seen my somewhere around here there's got to be a mine. Alright, we'll have to come back and figure out where the mine. Actually, you know what? Can I just... No, I can't set it up. I don't bet you. Yeah, so I need to get that. Alright. That's fine. Is it just... Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Alright, we'll find it eventually. Okay, let me get in here. And then we'll get... Nope, I'm going to die. That's what's going to happen here because I don't have water. I didn't bring water with me. I got too excited. Let's get all those picked back up. Alright. And then iridium is fine. We'll go check that one out. So the idea here is to get all this stuff set up so that we can keep all this stuff going. So that when I need things, I can have them built. And we have basically all of our resources at the main base set up so that we have it. And so zeolite. The problem is here is zeolite is going to cause problems. We'll need to come fix this one too. So we only want to supply the zeolite from here. Even though I think I have a ridiculous amount of zeolite still kind of hanging out. Alright. So now that we have that stuff going, we want to get a couple of things set up so that we have the ability to start making the stuff that we need to make more stuff. So the things that we need are like basically the rods, right? We need to have rods being built. We need to have all the different rods, pretty much as many of them as we can. so that we have the iridium rods. We have the stuff that we need to do that. We also need to have storage for that stuff so it can be stored and we can have it and, you know, do all that fun stuff. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go back in here. We're going to go up here and we're going to start making fun things, right? So here we have this guy. So let's go ahead and build us some more auto crafters. So we'll get the auto crafter right there, right? And then this auto crafter is going to make us, let's see, I want it to make these rods. That's fine. So hopefully it may not be close enough to be able to do it. These things are limited by how far they can go. So it can cause problems, right? So basically I need to have this thing far enough down here so that because the super alloy and the aluminum are kind of over here. Let's try this again. Try this again and see if it will actually work here. See this? We're gonna go that rod there like that. There you go. So now it's making up. So now the stuff is in range. We can do it, right? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down here. We're gonna get some more osmium. Let's see, it looks like Pete is moving around. Osmium, right? I'm just gonna take just all of it. No, I don't need the rods. You can keep the rods for now. All right, we're gonna find different locations to store the rods here in a little bit. All right, so now I have that one. And then we are going to do this guy here, right? I guess I could have done a couple of those. Just make a bunch of these out like this, so that way we can just kind of have fun with it. Okay, well, we can't do that. All right, that's fine. All right, so this one is going to go, this is going to be another rod. So you know what? Let's have this one make osmium rods. That'll be fine. We need those. Or not. Is it out of range? I think a lot of the stuff is out of range. And we can kind of cheese it a little bit if we need to. The way, and you know what? I'll just do it that way. That's fine. Let's see. This one we'll do uranium rods. That'll be fine. This one can be uranium rods. That'll be okay. Right? Okay, so uranium is working. Let's see, what other rods do we have? We already done plastic rods, that's fine. What is this? Artillery shell, that doesn't seem right. Alright, so that way we should have all of these, right? So the ones that aren't working, like this guy, this osmium rod's not working. We can kind of cheese it. Let me go get some stuff. Let's see. The problem is we kind of built down here and didn't have everything set up the way we needed it to. So we're just gonna cheese this a little bit. Just to make it a little bit easier. Fortunately, I don't think I can do... Yeah, I wish I could just put the box up there. I could put it in front of it, but I don't want to do that. That's weird. Alright, so we're just going to put it back here. We'll do that. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to request, demand, and we're going to demand osmium. Okay. So what will happen is this guy will start getting those picked up. And then as soon as I get enough osmium in here, understanding that they have to travel, you know, a pretty good amount of directions. Same thing with uranium, right? We can put uranium in right next to it. Let's see. And then this one can demand uranium. This. Right? And then that way those will both be pulling that in, basically supplying these chests to let them do what they need to do. This one's close enough to make it. It just needs probably iridium to be brought up here. And then this guy here, bioplastic is not working. right? So we can kind of cheese it the same way, right? So circuits. Actually, you know what? Let me do this and die. I need to drink more water. All right, fine. I will drink water. All right, let me get this and drink some water. Fine, I will eat food. There. Are you happier now? Okay, game. All right. All right, so we can actually change one of these down here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to add this one. We're going to tell it to make circuits, right? So that is going to make circuits, but in order to make circuits, I need a bunch of stuff, right? So I think we might be able to do, so I need nitrogen cartridges and bioplastic nuggets. Let's see. And it probably would be smart to kind of go through and do a bunch of stuff so I knew exactly what was what, and let's see. That would actually probably makes sense. Now, I do want to make it where I'm only having one thing delivered to each one of these, because if I have multiple things delivered to it, I can't control it. And then, so we'll have those. And the other issue with doing it like this right now, we're completely overloading our robots. So our robots are basically being completely hijacked to try to do things and trying to build stuff and things like that, right? So we kind of have to figure that one out. Now the bioplastic I can do here and kind of go in here and go bioplastic, right? So we need mushrooms and silica and water bottles, right? So I think I need just mushrooms up here. All right, so what is this? That's new, an ecosystem. So let me get back to my bucket here. Where is it? I lost it. There it is. Nope, I missed it. Oh, there it is. All right. So here. So here, I just need mushrooms in here. I hope. We're gonna find out here soon. Mushrooms here, right? Now, I don't have mushrooms in the system, so we need to set up the logistics system. And it's a lot like Factorio trying to do that, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down here. I'm gonna tell this guy, you are going to be allowed to supply mushrooms. Where are you? Mushrooms. There you go. Same thing with this guy. You, my friend, are allowed to supply mushrooms. Now, like I said, you can do it where you can just be like, hey, you can supply anything. So pretty much whatever I plant in it, it would be able to supply it. I don't know. I like setting it up. All right. So once I get all these guys set up where they can supply mushrooms, right? And then these guys need to be able to supply eggplants. Oh, not demand. Let's see, supply eggplant. There you go. Then you can supply the eggplant. So we want to get all these things set up so that they can do that. There's going to be a lot of ones that I'm going to set up. I'm just trying to do kind of the main stuff here so that we just kind of have the stuff in the system and where it can be built. All right, so hopefully at that point we're catching mushrooms up there. So he's got a bunch of those down there. That's fine. Let's see. And then this thing's hopefully... Fortunately, see this recipe automatic grades the frown within range. Something being produced. All right, so and then here I want to make, I need rockets. Let's see. All right, so there we can make rockets now. So bioplastic nuggies are not working. Let's see what else. Should we have silicon? Do you not have water? Is the water too far away? And then we can do this, and we can demand. Okay, that's fine. We can demand that there. And then these guys should all be supplying whatever it is that they're making. If they're close, they'll just pull it over. But I think I need water here. I think is what this thing's being angry about. So we'll go ahead and demand a little bit of water here. Demand water. So hopefully that will get the parts that we need up here. And then this will allow us to kind of start building and doing what we need to. It's not a perfect system, and I'm sure if I plan things out a lot better, I could probably do a lot better with it. But at this point, it's just trying to get the basics of the stuff that we need. And let's see, I just need water. Can I put water in here? If I put water in there, it makes... Okay, so as long as it actually gets water, we'll be fine. So that will all be good. And then down here, like this guy here, we're going to demand weird things. Where are they at? They're probably down here somewhere. Here. So we're going to demand toxic water. That's fine. That's cool. We can do that. And then we're going to supply... Actually, you know what? I think I probably need to move over here. I need to supply from here. I need to supply... see, you know what? We can probably just supply everything. That's fine. But I want to supply water and these things, right? Over here, this one, we will demand those guys. We will demand these guys, right? So any of these that are in the system, anything that's being shared, and then what we're going to do is we're just gonna tell it to just supply everything this here, right? And then the same thing here. We're going to go tell this guy we want to demand toxic goo, and then here we will supply everything, right? So that way, as we go through and build things, we can basically, if something does need a goo or something like that, we can demand it, and then we can get it coming, and we can make all the things, even though these things are pretty much making on their own. We got food still going slowly. But for the most part, we have our rods being built. We have those being built. That will allow me to, now if I go in and look at, let's see. Yeah, so we have like the portal generator, right? So we need to start like working towards fusion cells if we can. So we need to figure out if we can make fusion cells. Let's see if we can go build an autocrafter. Can we build a fusion cell? What do we need for a fusion cell? Fusion cell. So we just need obsidian, osmium, and pulsar quartz crystals. So that shouldn't be super difficult. He says in jest. And then here, if I go in here and I go make pulsar crystals, right? So we need basically methane charge, uranium, all the other stuff that we can pretty much make, right? So this way we can make pulsar crystals, and you're basically in the end game at this point, because as long as we have the stuff we can start making these fusion cells. Then we can start turning power onto things, and then that kind of gets us to the part where we can start doing crazy stuff. Now, if I go out here to these guys, right? This is, I can do this, and I can go supply everything, right? And then here I can supply everything, right? And then, but these guys, if these are, which ones are these? I don't know if these are the upgraded ones or not. I think they're, I don't know. So it's saying 8.67 pk, right? So that's heat and pressure. Okay, so this is basically that's the tier 1 gas extractor. But the problem is it can actually get clogged by only making makes oxygen, and then the oxygen can get stuck in there because I'm not using it. So the other thing I want to do is to be able to get all this stuff kind of sorted, and then we'll have to get a much better storage box kind of situation going in. So what will end up happening is all these stuff will start to slowly work, and I need more food and water because, of course, I do. Why wouldn't I? I'm in here dying. All right, so that stuff is going. Now we can go over here and look at this guy, and then back into our truck, right? So we do need. That is my truck. I can tell by the purple thing, right? So we have oxygen, we have equipment increase, we have vehicle inventory increase. We're only T2 there. But really the one we want is O2, beacon, equipment, inventory, speed. Okay, so we don't have the logistics network on that yet. We want to be able to have the logistics network in it. And I want to see the other thing I can do. Can I demand control okay. So I can't ice. Can we ice? Yeah, I think it just demands it. So, and the problem is I think it will fill it up, which isn't awesome. I don't like that. So really at that point, all you can really do is kind of empty the truck out. But it will keep everything moving and going and cleaning. Oh, here. Let's see. One of these things should be able to access this thing and make it. I don't want to pick it up. I want to. There it is. Here I can tell this guy to go ahead, supply everything. Supply everything right there. So that way, the eggplants, all that stuff. If anything needs eggplants, we can summon them. Oh Jesus, that thing's massive. All right, cool. All right. Green beans. I'll go ahead and supply that. Everything. So that way, as things are being... Oh, wait. We need to make... Well, the honey doesn't need to be set up, but it'll be nice to be able to do it. Alright, so that stuff is all good. So we have... Okay, one of these days I'll hit the right button. There it goes. Alright, so that stuff is all good there. Alright, so that is all moving and grooving and doing what we need to do. And that's really the bots is trying to get them set up and getting it sorted and figuring out how they work and stuff like that. And making sure that you have the stuff to be able to feed the autocrafters is very helpful. And then at some point, if you really wanted to, we could go down here. Let me go get a bunch of iron. Because now that we have the bots bringing iron back to us, we can just do this. Now, the only bad part about this is that if you empty your entire inventory out like that into resources, and then you don't have any place to put them, then by the time you get back down there, it's quite possible that the building could be full, and you may not be able to send stuff back. And you'll just then be stuck with the stuff in your inventory. So just something to be aware of. 3. Alright, so, but yeah, there we go. We used all that stuff. Alright, so now here what we can do. So pulsar crystals. Oh no, pulsar quartz, right? We can actually demand these and say demand. And then we can say, would you please bring me the pink crystals? That'd be great. That'd be awesome. Right? Same thing with the solar crystals. We can do this and say demand. And then this way, if we have solar crystals that we find out in the wild, we can have them brought back here and stored correctly. Blaze our crystals. Where are they? Blaze our crystals. Oh, blue crystals somewhere? No, they're there. Found them. Obsidian, I think we've already got that one. Nope, we don't have obsidian set up. So let's set up obsidian. There you are. Circuits. Command. Circuits. And then there they are. Okay. And then magnetar quartz. No, that's not the right one. That's the right there. All right. So those are all set up. So that'll be summoned. And then this guy is just being... Figure out what this guy needs. Why are you being... Oh, so methane charge. So we don't have enough methane charge, I think. So if I look at... zeolite, iridium, a circuit board, and 2 super alloys. I think... Okay. Let's see. Some zeolite. Let's see, super alloys. And then the problem is as especially as we get this thing set up, we're basically burning through all of our stuff. Right. So let's go ahead and get one of these things put out here. And Pete said something, and I'm not paying attention. Oh, I have a new message in the comms terminal. Let's see. So we'll do this gas extractor. The upgraded gas extractor. Yes. And then select type to extract, right? So this one we can actually do this. And we could do basically methane charge, nitrogen charge, and oxygen capsule, right? So that we can do methane charge there. And then here we can do this and go everything, get rid of methane, that will be fine. And then let's go ahead and build, let's see, I need super alloys. I don't have them. All right. Let's go see what the message terminal has. I haven't been reading a bunch of the message terminals because I'm a jerk. I've chosen to send this community to extradition to get all the charges against you dropped. You must fully terraform the planet. Try to contact Sentinel Corp. Right, so this is all messages from, and this is all the pristine purifying bombs, right? So we can have all kinds of crazy stuff. All right, so basically, if you don't know, you're basically a prisoner. You've been crash landed here, and then they want you to go build things. And then I need to get super alloys, which we're probably waiting on. So let me go see if we can run to the super alloy place. Run to super alloy. And then I think, yeah, it's over here. So we'll see if they have super alloys. The problem is we don't have a lot of drones. The drones are slow to produce. And I've completely overwhelmed the drone network because I've requested like them to do everything. So as they're trying to get caught up, they don't have a lot of the ability to be able to do the things I want them to do because they just don't have this stuff. They don't have enough friends. So we need to get them more friends built. And more importantly, we need to get to the upgraded drones built so that we can actually have them done. And that is easier said than done. All right, so into here we go. Back into the base we go. All right, and then we'll do this. So I need to get rods and zeolite. So I need a couple of zeolite like that. Need to get an iridium rod, which is great because then we can actually use some of these dang iridium rods. All right, we'll do this guy here. Oh, I need to go make another one. So we need to get another iridium rod. Some more zeolite. And this way we'll have, I don't think I really need the oxygen capsules, but I'd rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. Right, so this one is just going to be the oxygen capsule, and then that can go, just get rid of everything. And then this one is going to be nitrogen, and of course, get rid of everything. And then this one is methane, right? So now we have methane coming in. We have all the stuff we need to be able to do what we need to do, and hopefully start being able to make things. The food is nice and full now. A little bit of super alloy. And as I put it in, you'll see, like, as soon as I hit enough, it's going to trigger, and it should pull most of those in there and turn them into a rod. Which is what's happening, is we're turning... we're basically picking up as fast as we can and turning everything into rods up here. So until this thing gets full, same thing with this one, right? Osmium, all that stuff is being picked up and compressed basically as fast as we can. So that we can try to make the rods and get as many of them as we can built. So that way when I need them, I have them. Yeah, so we have no uranium here. So, yeah, so we don't have... We just need to set it up so that we have uranium being delivered here. And then that will help us. And then we'll start making that. But we're so overloaded with everything else. I think we're okay. I think we're doing good. And we'll just keep digging through. And then, yep, we've already got 2 fusion cells being made. And as we slowly dig through, and here you go. So as we slowly go through and build this stuff in and get it built, it will be better and better for us. And awesome. So I'm going to probably go through a little bit rest of the night and kind of get some of this stuff cleaned up. Get some stuff being made. But I wanted to make a thing on basically how to build the bots and how to get that to work. And then how to set up. Because I know when I originally did the drone station, it took me a little bit to figure out kind of how it worked. So I want to kind of give people the ability to understand how the drone station works. And how to get things to move where we need them to go. And how to set up the priorities. And I didn't even mess with the priorities. I just left everything to normal. Right? But if I wanted to go in here, I can be like, hey, it's very important. Get this stuff out of here quickly. And then, you know, so you have high, very high, highest, 4, 5. And then you can go all the way down to the lowest, right? So I just leave most things to normal. If I have something I really need to get cleared, or I really want to make sure I'm building, you can mess with it. But you just have to be careful, because if I make everything the highest priority, then nothing is the highest priority. So you just have to be careful at messing with those, pretty much like any game that has priorities like that. So hopefully that helps. If it did, I really appreciate it if you leave me a comment down below. If you have any other tips or trips or stuff like that, you can probably leave that down there too. If you like the videos and it was helpful, please consider throwing a like on the video. And then making sure you're subscribed to see more of this and any of the other stuff that we're playing. You guys be safe, and we'll catch y'all next time. Bye!